You know, prayer is a central part of life for billions of people. But have you ever stopped to ask what its actual purpose is? The why behind it all isn't always so obvious. In this explainer, we're going to dive into a perspective that kind of reframes the entire conversation.
So yeah, let's just get right into it. Why do we pray? I mean, that's the foundational question, isn't it? Whether you pray all the time or you're just curious about it, this is a question that really deserves a clear answer.
And here's the thing. What we find in the sources we're looking at is that the most common answers, well, they don't really tell the whole story. The real purpose might actually be something way deeper and more transformative than you've ever considered.
Okay, this slide really gets to the heart of the biggest misunderstanding. A lot of us think of prayer as a way to inform God about our problems, or maybe to persuade Him to give us what we want. But the sources point to a radically different purpose. Prayer isn't meant to change God's mind. It's meant to change and reorient us.
This whole idea is built on a fundamental principle you find right here in the Quran. It says God is completely self-sufficient, free of need. That means He doesn't need our updates, He doesn't need our reminders, He doesn't need anything from us.
And if you think about it, that leads to one inescapable conclusion. If prayer isn't for God's benefit, then it must be for ours. It's a tool, a mechanism, designed specifically for the human being.
The Quran actually describes prayer as an act of remembrance. But here's the twist. It's not for God's sake. He's never forgetful. It's a prescription for us, because if there's one thing we humans are experts at, it's forgetting.
And what do we forget? Oh, just the most fundamental truths of our own existence. We forget that we're completely dependent beings. We forget that we aren't really in control. We forget that this life is temporary. And we definitely forget that what's right is more important than what we just happen to want in the moment.
This gives us a really powerful analogy. Think of your awareness as a compass. Throughout the day, life's distractions and our own ego are constantly pulling that compass off course, away from true north. Prayer is that scheduled, repeated moment where you stop, pull out the compass, and recalibrate it, pointing it back toward reality.
And this reorientation isn't just a mental thing, it's deeply physical. The sources emphasize that the body literally trains the heart. Standing upright signals accountability. Bowing acknowledges a greatness beyond ourselves. And prostration, putting your face, the very seat of your ego, on the ground, is the ultimate act of voluntary humility.
So it's crucial to get this. This process isn't magical. It's formational. It's not like you say some words and poof, you're a new person. It's the consistent, repeated practice that is designed to slowly shape your character, your inner world from the inside out.
All right, now we get to the second major paradigm shift. The Quran makes this absolutely startling claim. God isn't some distant being you have to shout at. The divine presence is described as being nearer to you than your own jugular vein, closer than your own lifeblood.
Now that changes everything. If God is already that close, then prayer isn't about building a bridge to some far-off place. It's much more like cleaning a mirror. The reflection is already there. Our job is just to remove the dust and grime that are blocking our ability to see it clearly.
Which of course leads to the next logical question. If this nearness is a given, what's all the dust? What is it that clouds our perception and makes us feel so distant?
The sources use this powerful metaphor, rust on our hearts. And it's not just one thing, but a whole collection of inner states. Heedlessness, just living on autopilot. Arrogance, the constant noise of distraction. Unhealthy attachments. All of these things act like a layer of rust, just dulling our spiritual senses.
So, in this framework, prayer is the daily solvent. It's the act of spiritual maintenance, the consistent polishing of that mirror, the scrubbing away of all the rust that just naturally accumulates in daily life.
And maybe the thickest layer of that rust is our most dangerous illusion, the illusion of self-sufficiency. That quiet, creeping belief that we're the masters of our own universe, that we're fully independent and totally in control.
Prayer is a direct, physical confrontation with this illusion. Several times a day, it forces you to stop whatever you're doing and embody the most basic truths. You are a created being. You are not the source of your own life. You aren't even in control of your next breath. It's a reality check.
The source material puts this in really stark terms. Without that regular, grounding interruption, the human ego just quietly, almost without us noticing, elevates itself to the position of a god in our own life.
Prayer's ultimate function, then, is to keep us tethered to reality, to keep the human being truly human.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here? Prayer isn't a journey to some distant destination. It's a journey back home, a return to the truth of your own situation. And it's in that state of remembrance that you can finally perceive the nearness that was there all along.
And this leaves us with a final thought to carry with us. What if spiritual connection isn't a mountain we have to climb, or a prize we have to win, but simply a reality we need to awaken to?